What you see behind me here are the Bungle Bungle Ranges. They are simply spectacular. We've planned 3 days here to check this park out in its entirety. We just dropped into the Visitors Information Center, and that plan is in serious jeopardy. There is a major rain event coming this way, and there is talks that they are potentially going to close this park tomorrow. It's midday now, so that being the case, we're going to try and smash out some walks around the dome area. Tomorrow morning, we're going to try and smash out some walks around the Echidna Chasm area. Hey, if we get to stay past that, fantastic. If we get kicked out, at least we'll have seen a good portion of what the park has to offer. Not much we can do about the weather, so let's strap on the hiking boots and get out and amongst it. Impressive lump of rock as well. We're not too far from the car park now, and we're starting to get into the beehives and the domes, and they are spectacular. Well, here we are, starting our walk into the domes. We're going to do the domes loop for starters, which is a short little guy, only about 400 meters long, and all through this area are our camelberries. These are the same plants that we saw out in the canning stock route, except for these ones are much bigger than the canning ones. So they must get a bit more water. You're walking into the dome area here now, and it is 1 o'clock, the absolute hottest part of the day. You do not want to go walking at this time of day, but unfortunately, as I said earlier, we don't have any choice. We've got that rain event coming, and we got to try and jam as much as we can in case they kick us out of the park. This is a close-up of what the bungles look like. You got these dark areas with the cyanobacter, and then you've got the light areas where it's too dry for the cyanobacteria to live. And then you get the striations from cyanolayers and dry layers. My goodness, check that out. How stunning. I'm sure what the videos can't convey are the size of these things. Right on that dome there's a termite mound, about dead center. And that's a full-size termite mound. That'll be 4 feet high. And look at it, it's a little teeny blip on the dome. One thing that the GoPro doesn't pick up is the redness of those bands. It kind of mutes it out a little bit, but they're deep, deep red. Jill is on the trail heading into Cathedral Gorge. Let's go check it out with her. I got a real eerie orange glow. And a massive termite mound. You can see how they've run the tracks up to the mound itself, and the mound is this big smushed, flattened out structure. Well done, termites. That might give a little bit of an idea of the scale of this place, but that is one thing that cameras will never be able to convey. It's just the scale. It's awe-inspiring. There's where the waterfall comes running down, and there's our pool. Remarkably non-cesspool-like, but it's drying out. I'd hazard a guess if that rain event happens, that's going to fill up big time. Have a look at all of those structures, kind of reminiscent of Honeycomb Gorge in the Kennedy Ranges. Look at that little hanging flower there. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Jill has a couple of bugs flying around her, mainly flies. Have a look at this ant path. It's worn in the rocks, and it goes all the way along here, all the way down here, and out across this flat rock. They've worn a path completely in the rock.
That's cool.
That's a serious ant highway.
No falling.
No dying. That's impressive. Those are mature trees up on the top of that. Give a bit of scale. Beautiful. This is what's inside of the bungles. You got the hard crust, which is black and red, but inside you got delicate, soft white sandstone. So as soon as that crust breaks away, that sandstone can get eroded so easily. I guess that's why these things are so delicate. You need that hard crust to make sure it doesn't undermine the dome.
Looks like that astronaut ice cream we ate.
It does. I can get you a sample. Would you like to taste it?
No, thank you. But that's what it reminds me of. I picked up a piece of this rock just sitting here, the sandstone, how fragile that is. I could have that worn down to nothing in no time at all.
Guts of a bungle. Man, in terms of grandeur, I would put this right up there with Uluru or Ayers Rock. Just simply breathtaking.
Terry can't get rid of his little friend here. These look like beehives. And Terry has a friend.
I do, my clicking bee.
He's probably sucking your sweat out of your shirt.
That's exactly what he's doing. Yes, so that gorge that we were rabbiting on about being Cathedral Gorge is not. That's just on that dome's loop. I thought it looked a little bit small from the photos I've seen of the actual Cathedral Gorge, and now I know why, because we haven't even seen it yet.
Terry's still got the clicking bee.
We're here only a few days after the winter solstice, so it is the shortest day of the year, and the sun is as low in the sky as it gets during the year. Obviously on the northern hemisphere, it's the highest it gets. And I was wondering whether that would affect the grandeur of this place. And you know what? It doesn't. Not at all. Just simply spectacular. Go winter solstice.
These little rocks are embedded right in the bigger rocks. There's more.
There's little water pools all along this creek. So obviously there's a fair amount of water that gets down here. If these things haven't dried up yet. I am facing towards Cathedral Gorge, and the walking track's just off to our left.
Can hear an airplane. Well, that's a change from a helicopter. You look little.
I feel little.
Heading into Cathedral Gorge.
There's Jill. And there's one of the domes behind her. Look at the size of that monster. Unbelievable. Jill, did you bring that from Queensland?
Yeah.
Why? Why did that come
Fell
from
out of my
Queensland?
back pocket. Hello, guy.
Bloody cane toads. I don't know whether GoPro picked that up, but this bush in front of us, this grass that's got a really unusual smell, is all shiny. I'm heading into the gorge, hon.
Okay, I could hear you dying up the stairs.
Have a look at that. There'd be some powerful water going through there to carve those holes in there. They're 10 feet in diameter and deep. Still on our way into Cathedral Gorge, and this is just one of the, I don't know, dozens and dozens of little waterfalls that feed in here. This would be spectacular in the wet. Very interesting. Well, we've only got about an hour of daylight left, so we're definitely going to give the Pickaninny Lookout a crack. Don't know whether we'll make the window and back, but let's head to the lookout for starters. And being later in the day, have a look at the color of those domes. Unbelievable. We're walking in the middle of the Pickaninny creek bed. That's crazy. Even the creek bed's got domes. Very cool. Jill is on a pedestal.
Where I belong.
Where you belong. This termite mound has got rocks embedded in it. Don't know how that happened. That dome looks like it's got a split right down the center of it. Like a kaiju with a giant sword has gone chop. And there is that cleft up close. So neat. There's another one with a cleft right down the center. I wonder what that's all about. Well, we are at the end of the line here, and here is our lookout. Let's go check it out. Holy cow, that is simply stunning. And they go on and on and on, as far as the eye can see. Camelberries all there in the foreground, also known as bush holly, and that's Pickaninny Creek with the grooves in the riverbed. That is epic. Time now to walk back to the truck and set up camp. Jill's making her way back to Pickaninny Creek and then off to the car park. This park is unbelievable. Definitely bucket list material. Get out here, check it out. We're here at late afternoon. I'd imagine early morning would be just as spectacular, but definitely on the shoulder hours of the day. Sensational. There's Jill walking along the base of that dome on the trail to give you a little bit of an idea of the grandeur of this place. Just unbelievable. That little guy looks like a chess piece, maybe a pawn, or maybe BB3 for those Star Wars fans. We're only about 100 meters, 200 meters from the car park. So this is the end of our journey. Well, that was the beehive area of the Bungle Bungle Ranges, and unbelievable. I'm still gobsmacked. Loved it, loved it, loved it.
You could stare at it all day. And you only really get to see a tiny part.
Yep, 100%. That Cathedral Gorge, there's probably 100 Cathedral Gorges in this range. Well, Jill and I have pulled into the Bloodwoods car park, and we're going to take on, what is it called, Jill? The Little Palms Walk?
Mini Palms Gorge.
Mini Palms
Trail.
Mini Palms Trail. Cool. I can't believe there's nobody here. Like, nobody. Zero. Not one single car.
It's 7:53 a.m.
Right. We are on the start of the walk to the Mini Palms. 2.2 kilometers. I don't know, was that return or was that one way? I don't know either. Guess we'll find out. This was the section of the park that I remember when we were here 30 years ago with the Livistonia palms sort of perched high up on the bluffs. I'm sure we'll see them.
Yeah, 2.2 each way.
Okay, 4.4. But check out these spinifex. They're all sort of equal size. Little puffs. They look soft as anything, but if you fell in them you'd be picking barbs out of you for a week. Looks cool though. The trouble with tribbles. Well, look at these little flowers. They're like yellow camelberries. I'm glad that this area has been burnt out recently. It's cleaned it up, and these spinifex, they must be the first guys that take over before the trees and shrubs can grab hold, and it's just this lovely, well, it looks like a soft carpet of a garden. We know better, however. But talk about picturesque. Wow. Up about 3/4 of the way up on that bluff are a few Livistonia palms. They're very neat palms. I like them. They kind of remind me of the dinosaur age. These couple of bungles here look like they've tipped over. They're definitely on an angle. The other guys were all pretty much straight up. A little bit of a bungle in the jungle. Now this area here hasn't been burnt. And look at how all the shrubs and trees have sort of crowded the area out. Up there on either side of those peaks are 2 Livistonia palms. They all grab a foothold in the cracks where they can get some water, I guess. Here's what the little immature Livistonia palms look like. And then as they grow, I'll obviously get a trunk, and the little poof on the top stays there, and the leaves fall off along the trunk as they grow taller. I think I know why they call these trees bloodwoods.
You can see how deep this rock is in the riverbed. I have no idea how deep that runs beneath where you can see. Very far, I would imagine.
Sounds like there's a bird up there that's not happy with our presence. The track now is dropped into this riverbed, and maybe it's called the Mini Palms Walk because you got all these immature palms along the side of the creek. It is. Okay. What's the problem with wide brim hats? You can't see those clangers coming. This is awesome. Good jumping. At least these rocks are grippy. Are we running out of options?
Well, you go this way. I was looking if you went up or around.
Oh, wow, that's squeezy. I have to suck my gut in. Have a look on that fissure on that rock face, and there's some Livistonia palms that are clinging in there. Unbelievable. We're nearing the end of the trail. Oh, it's not the end yet.
Okay.
Holy cow. That's impressive.
Very neat.
So high. We made it to the end, and the scale of this place just is hard to comprehend. Now that Livistonia palm in frame at the moment is probably 20 meters high, maybe 30 meters high, and we're right at the end of a cleft.
I have friendly clicky bees.
Yes, we all have clicky bees on us. And down there in that cleft, those are full-grown trees. It's just incredible.
I'm videoing this in case Terry falls, so I have proof I didn't push him.
I'm just gonna sit here and admire the view.
Okay, see if the bee will come in frame. Come on, bee. Go, yeah, there you go. I now have 2 bees.
That's an echo.
To be or
3 bees.
not to be. 3 bees. Oh, just handed Terry the GoPro and he took one of my bees. Yay. You'll blast people's ears out.
When we were walking in here, I pointed out those two Livistonia palms on either side of those bluffs. I didn't know we were going to be walking past them up this crevasse, but we did. Very cool.
Is it crevice or crevasse?
Cravat. I'm glad I didn't wear mine.
I'm coming back to the weave through the giant rock section here. Ooh, tentacle. A bee trying to land on my filming hand. Trying not to kill myself while walking and filming.
Now you gotta take your hat off for this one and crawl.
Go, guy, go.
You did it. Here he goes over, Jill goes under. That's the difference between 6 foot tall and 5 foot tall.
Well, that's a bit of rounding there.
There is some rounding there, yes.
You're like 6'1.5", and I'm 5'3".
Yeah.
And our son is taller than Terry. My one life goal.
There's a little clicky bee. He's getting a drink, a sweat. In Canada, these guys were called sweat bees for obvious reasons. Well, after that epic little walk, we're heading down the road a little bit further to Echidna Chasm. We're going to do that walk. The last time we did this was 30 years ago, so it'll be interesting whether they've blocked it off any further or whether you can walk the same distance back there. Well, here we are at the Echidna Chasm trailhead. And 30 years ago, they didn't have these big flash signs, that's for sure. But we did walk up this creek bed. I remember that. I should have a look at our old photos from 30 years ago and see whether these palms were down this creek bed or not. I'm interested to know how old those suckers actually are. I'm pretty sure that I've got a photo from 30 years ago with a Livistonia palm on the top of that bluff there. And it's gone now, so she would have died. Look at the banding in this rock. That is cool.
Oh shit, Terry! Holy shit! That was like a jumping, flying little snake. Holy shit! That was like a jumping,
snake.
Little snake.
Far out.
On our way into Echidna Chasm, just after the little snaky incident. Yikes. We were just saying yesterday how we haven't encountered many snakes on this trip. Well, there you go.
Check this out. A couple of bowerbird nests. This fella here, he's collected gray and white rocks, as has this guy in the back. But he's also picked up bits of toilet paper off the track because he likes that white color. There's his bower. There's his collection of toilet paper and gray and white rocks. Poor bugger. And let's see if we can catch sight of him. He's up above me. Starting to get in a narrower track now. The palms are lining the sides and you got this conglomerate type rock. And you think about that, you know, billions of years ago, these rocks would have had to been in a riverbed to be eroded round like that. Then they had to be deposited. Then they had to be covered with sand and compacted into this agglomerate. Far out. Boggles the mind how much time that takes. Temperatures dropped by 10 degrees. Beautiful. There is our first taste of the chasm. Jill's heading back in towards it now. The temperature's still dropping.
All right, bee friend. Be a bit quieter, please.
Now the best time of day, they say, to get here is between the hours of 11 and 12. For obvious reasons, because you got the sun directly in the sky. But because it's a cloudy day today, it doesn't really matter for us. We're here at about 10:30 or so. We're getting to the point where all the plants are starting to run out because they don't get enough light to stay alive. And then we'll step down into the riverbed here, into the chasm. That is as impressive as I remember it, huh? I remember being blown away. I do remember a boulder in this chasm that was above your head. It was big. It was like the size of a VW, but it was sitting above your head and you actually walked under it. Let's see if that's still there.
It's a long way up there.
I reckon one of these rocks here in front of us was the ones that were up above our head at one point, and they've fallen down because there's nothing above our head anymore, all the way to the top. Still going.
Still going. Crazy. This is really cool.
It's getting skinnier though.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to be here at the rock, though.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be squashed. I don't remember it going back this far. Ah, there's that rock. Yep. That rock I took a photo of 30 years ago over Jill's head, and it's still there. There's the two rocks right there. It looks like we've reached the end of the line, have we? I wonder whether that rock there was the one we took the photo of.
Could have been, and now they've said not safe.
Yeah.
Exiting Echidna Chasm now. Terry's going under those two lodged rocks. Think I can climb down this while filming without killing myself? I will try. Ugh.
Good morning, Jafffa Adventures. Have a look at this, hey? Bungle Bungles has turned into a swamp. It's been hosing down for the last couple of hours. We did get a shower last night as well, and the camp hosts came around yesterday and said that they will be closing the park. So unfortunately for us, we are heading out of here.